Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in again. My family and I are camping out up here in the UP. We've got a really small river that I was able to put the boat into, and it's got a lot of water movement in it. There is a lot of current. I was lucky enough to get it down into a little gravel ramp at the place we're staying at. Definitely probably not meant for bass boats, but I've been on my trolling motor now for 3 hours straight going upstream. And you know, I'm still able to do it. Most of the water depth is 2 to 4 feet of water. It's been pretty cool. I came out for a few hours and I've got most of the day now to explore from here on out. Sarah's got the 2 kids and they were going to go do some things, so I'm checking out this river. I don't really know what to expect. I've caught some smallmouth, caught some pike, caught some various other stuff, seen some, usual river fish. But what I want to talk about is when you come out on these rivers, you need the right equipment. And it doesn't matter if you're in a bass boat or you're in a rowboat or you're in a canoe. You really want to make sure you're kind of safe, because at this point I haven't seen a house, I haven't seen another person, and if something were to happen, I'd be kind of out of luck. So the first thing I want to point out is how important it is to have good batteries. Where we're staying, we're only here for 2 days. I don't plan on charging the boat at all. We've only got a couple of outlets that we can use, and I just don't plan on charging the boat. Even though I'm going to be out all day on the trolling motor, I don't really have to worry about it, because I've got 3 Battle-Born lithium batteries, which will last me for sure for a couple of full days, even when I'm on high with the trolling motor covering a ton of water. It's really unbelievable to me how much power I get out of them. One of the greatest parts about it is you always have high power. You always have 100% power versus lead acid batteries where you slowly lose power. So your batteries are going dead, which doesn't happen with the Battle-Born. When you lose power completely. But one other thing I want to point out is if for some reason I do need to change batteries, the trolling motor that I'm running, the Lowrance Ghost, if you can see it in the water over there, allows me to switch from 36 to 24 volts. So if I do need to charge batteries, I could charge just 2 batteries instead of trying to charge all 3 if I needed to do that. It's also a great safety feature when I'm out in a body of water like this, because if something does happen to one of the batteries for some reason, I can switch it down to a 24 volt system and it can get me back. So the batteries are a huge thing. No matter where you're at, you don't want to get stuck. If I'm way up a river and don't know where anyone else is, I have no cell service either right now, so there's nothing I can do to call. But the same thing happens if you're out on big water. If you're out, say, on the Great Lakes or a big natural lake and it's really windy, if your batteries are shot, it could potentially put you in a safety issue. That's the worst part about it. It's one thing to lose the day of fishing. It's another thing to get caught in a current or blowing in a wind direction that could push you up on some rocks or put you in a position where you're going to damage your boat or your equipment. So it's really important to have batteries. The trolling motor too, that Lowrance Ghost, I have absolutely no issues with. I love the thing. It's got so much power that it's really unbelievable. And in a river like this, where I don't know where I'm at, there's no map for this place, I don't know that I'm going to start the big motor. Maybe to come back down, I'll start it and idle down, but there's been enough debris in the middle of the river that it concerns me to potentially ruin something on the big motor. So I'm probably just going to work my way back down with the trolling motor too. So to have a trolling motor that's got the power that this has and know that I'm going to be banging it into some stumps and some logs, it just makes me feel really safe about being out on the water. Some of the other things that you want to probably have for sure are your life jackets. I mean, you're not allowed to go without your life jackets, but I always carry with me a first aid kit as well as my Coast Guard approved marine safety kit, which contains like some flares, some flags, different things to whistles, all of the things I would need when I'm on the Great Lakes to attract attention to myself in case I need help. So I've got that. I've got a first aid box that has all kinds of stuff in it. I'll probably do a separate video just on the first aid box in itself. But those things are really important. You also want to make sure that you've always got with you some water and a little bit of food. I always carry with me some Bridgeford stuff. And I know this sounds very much like a big sponsor plug, but the truth of the matter is I use products that that I'm sponsored by, because they're products that I believe in. So I always have jerky, I always have water, I always have, you know, all the electronics and everything that I think I need, that I can trust to get me back to where I'm going. So when I'm out like this, which is awesome and at the same time always a little bit of a concern, you know, I've had some instances over the years where I'm fishing shallow stuff like this, which is one of my favorite ways to fish. But you're in some strong current, you're getting blown up into a tree or something, and then the trolling motor or your motor hits a log and the boat stops instantly and you go flying out of the boat. So it's always a little bit of a concern, because in those instances, every time I've been knocked out of the boat in that manner, there's a lot of wood debris laying around in that area. So if I fell in the wrong spot, I could easily fall and break a leg or hit my head. Something that would be of a lot of concern. And I know that's something a lot of river fishermen have concern about up here in the upper Midwest. You know, guys, there's been guys over the years that have died, anglers that have died on the Mississippi River just from that type of accident. So it's something you want to be aware of, and you want to be ready for everything. So you want to make sure your equipment is in tip-top shape and you have the right stuff in the boat. So I'm going to get back to fishing here and exploring. Hopefully I can untap this untouched smallmouth river. We'll see what we can find. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. I hope this was a helpful video. Stay tuned. We'll have more videos coming out tomorrow.